What is up, YouTube? This is a take two. I just recorded a 10-minute video about 45 minutes ago where apparently there's a microphone somewhere on here and my hand was covering it. I'm trying to find where it is so I don't do it again because I want to film and make vlogs, and I'm trying to be all excited about it and trying to be hyped up about doing it. And now the lighting isn't working. No angles has a good enough light, so I guess I'll just be pointing at the corner of my wall. Um, I'm gonna try and do this again. So, basically, what I spoke about in the original video is about the band and about the lineup and what we like to do. Not that. See, I made this video so long ago, like 40 minutes ago, and it was good. It was the first very fluent vlog that I've done in a long time, where for 10 minutes I was able to talk about everything that I need to, I'm getting better at doing the talking in front of a camera thing, but I don't like redoing it. So if I seem a little bit agitated this video, it's because I don't want to redo this, because the first one was good enough. But you wouldn't be able to hear half the stuff I said because I was covering a microphone with something. So, uh, first order of business would be about the band. We're working on putting out a demo later this year, like in the up and coming months, not very far later this year, but 3 or 4 months expect to be seeing it drop. 6 or 7 songs are going to be on it. The first title track is going to be Outside, and the last track on the album is going to be called Inside. It's sort of this cool transitional story theme where um, we have a storyline that plays throughout it, and then we have videos that play that support the storyline that are going to be playing throughout eventually. So it'll be like an artistic project entirely created by us. Um, it's gonna be it's gonna be fun to create, and it's gonna be amazing to play in front of people, because that's what I love to do, is play in front of people. That's the main purpose of doing music. I think should be for the message to be spoken in front of how many people that you can. As long as it's a positive message, as long as it's supposed to help people, it should be provided to them, and it should be performed with true heart and capability and passion, and you shouldn't be trying to fake whatever you're doing on stage. Like, it's gonna be a little bit. The first album that we're coming out with, the first demo that we're coming out with for Outside is already up on YouTube on the channel, but it's an older video where pretty much all of us are out of tune, but it still sounds a little bit okay. It's on the band's page, and it's also on the YouTube that we just created today with the help of my friend Russell. Because I have way too many emails. I can't keep fucking putting this stuff up. Uh, it's too many emails to keep track of and too many passwords. So he made the email for the new band, and we have the old demo from last year up on it, and it's for Inside, which is the very last track on the. It's the outro to the demo, pretty much. There's no lyrics or anything. Like, I scream a little bit, but it's nothing. It's special. It's just me trying to play around with the song and see what vocal ranges work with it. If I should scream it, if I should belt it, if I should full range or head range, that sort of thing. Let's see. I'm really excited about it because the way that Revenge is Ours is put together is from people that have different artistic backgrounds, where I come from a background of listening to a lot of punk music and a lot of harder hitting stuff like post-hardcore, like if you like A Day to Remember, it's sort of a mixture between punk and post-hardcore, but screaming and melodic parts. I love all that, but we're not going to be doing that in Revenge is Ours right now. I really wanted to, but it's just a matter of everybody wanting to work hard enough to achieve that kind of music, because it's really hard to write. Not hard to write, but it's difficult to write and perform, because you have to be. It can't be the same thing over and over again. It has to be artistic, and it has to have meaning. At least for me, that's the biggest thing. It has to always have a fallback that is positive, and it has to have an impact that the audience can draw from, that they can relate to what we're talking about, or they just like the sound of it. That's usually why you listen to music, just because you like the sound of it. So trying to come up with a good sound is probably the most difficult part of having a band, but once you achieve it, and once you're able to chase it, let me make sure, hold on. I don't know where the microphone is, so I hope that this video works, because if I put my hand over a certain part of the phone, you literally can't hear a word I'm saying. And I don't know, man, that first video is really good. But um, back on topic, for the band, I have that punk influence, and then for our lead guitarist, we both are lead guitarists now because I'm starting to get good enough to where I can do solos and stuff. I'm really excited about that. But Russell is our main lead guitarist. Like, he's the guy that's going to be coming up with them most of the time and playing them while I'm singing. Because being a lead guitarist and singing at the same time is probably one of the most difficult things in music that you could do if you're a traditional four-person, in front of the crowd band that loves playing for them. That atmosphere where, a small number of people get up in front of a large amount of people and are able to help them smile and have a good time and listen to music and enjoy every second of it. Because like all the transitions in between the songs that are going to have different sort of influences are going to be really fun to make. Different sort of tones that transfer in between songs and their sound. Like feedback, lots of feedback. For in between transitions and hearing the chords and the notes ring out, that stuff's super cool to me. At least I love hearing how bands will create a song and maybe they'll come in super harsh or maybe they'll have an intro, but usually at the end, it's not every band, but I love the style of it because it just portrays the music in its most full, and straightforward, honest way. Like Shane says in the Shed VHSs. Shane's the guitarist for Title Fight. They do sort of the same kind of music. They have this super unique style, and when they were writing Shed, uh, they utilized recording sounds with, like just microphones put up to the amp so it could sound super old school and super harsh. And I love that because having that open sound where you just hear the amp itself and you hear the tone of the guitar is probably way more straightforward and a lot heavier hitting than some sort of digital program that can imitate the sound of the amp that's making. I think that's probably why they did that. Um, I think it would just be more fun to record all together and record live. Like that's super fun, and it literally is the most straightforward and honest way to present yourself because you cannot screw up, and if you do, then you have to start over. Um, that's probably how we're going to be recording our tracks. If not, it's going to be piece by piece just because of the fact that we couldn't get everyone in one place. Because the band's made up of different people. Like when Revenge is Ours started, it was me, and then it was Russell, and we had a drummer named Thomas and a bassist named Nick. And Nick almost never showed up, but he's pretty much busy all the time. Even to this day, he's a very busy guy. At the time, I think he was taking judo and he had jazz lessons after school, so he would never be able to show up to practice. Maybe only 3 or 4 of the total practices that we had with that lineup. But we sort of had that core sound where we wanted to be the fast and aggressive band, and I always loved that sound. And now we're starting to branch off and do more melodic stuff, not just because of the other people that came into the band and with their ideas and their own personal outlooks of how to produce music, but because I accepted that um, it's gonna we can't play like the same type of music forever, um, especially when lineups change, because you never want a lineup to change, but when it happens you have to heal and you have to grow from it. So the band has just been at the standstill for 2 years where we haven't put out anything. We have this huge Facebook page that's been up, but nothing's been happening because certain arguments would set off with the different people that we had. But we settled on a lineup, and now we have Fernando and Carlos. And Carlos has his own draw from music. He's been playing guitar for a lot longer than I have. He has this mellowcore sort of influence where he likes grittier stuff that still has melodic, prowess to it. It still has beautiful parts to it, and we're utilizing that because we have fast, hard, aggressive songs. Then we have softer songs, and then we have in between. We pretty much cover the whole spectrum. I'm really proud of how we're coming up with stuff. So, mainly what the next few months are gonna be is ironing out the very final parts of the songs and memorizing the lyrics and then practicing the songs all the way through to where we have a set where we can get everything, together into a set list and then play it in front of people, and then we can record it because we have our own little studio over at Russell's house. It's pretty cool. Um, but Fernando is a jazz drummer, and he has his own musical influence as well. So we're literally four different pieces of a puzzle that don't fit together, but we still fit together, if that makes sense. And that's a great thing to have because you can draw from so many different experiences music wise and so many different ideas. There's an idea pool that'll never run out because we're always going to be creating and we're always going to be trying to get better. At least that's what my outlook is. I want to try and get better every time. Every time I practice, every time I write something, I want to make sure it's better than the last time I did it, or at least something close to it, so that I can look at it with, a level-headedness instead of looking down upon it or looking up to it as something I have to achieve. Because for me, as being a musician, I was way too hard on myself for the longest time. Like, I always wanted to be good, and if you're a musician, you shouldn't be hard on yourself, but you should still have an honesty with yourself about what you're creating. That way, if you want to get better, you can have the honest mindset to go and chase it. Because I can't tell you how many times I've seen a musician that's been playing for a long time, but their knowledge of what's possible to do with the instrument is limited. I'm trying to put this forward as in the most friendly way that I can because I know there's gonna be people watching this video maybe that experience that. And there's sort of like a brick wall you'll hit every once in a while where you just can't come up with something new, or you don't have the drive to want to learn. But since I had such a huge passion for guitar, like I literally picked up a guitar and learned 2 songs in a day. And granted, I came from playing piano, but piano is different from guitar. So I think that anybody that wants to play guitar bad enough, or any sort of instrument, can literally pick it up and in a day start finding their bearings and finding the way they like to play, as long as they know the kind of music that they want to play with it, And granted, there's going to be different types of music that's harder to play than others, but as long as you want to bad enough, you should be able to chase it and achieve it. And that's mainly what I'm excited about is the possibilities of what the next year are going to bring for Revenge is Ours, because we have such a library to start building off of. And now that people are starting to check us out again and be like, hey, these guys are getting back together, maybe this time they're going to stay together. I don't know, because they've broken up like 3 or 4 times in the past 2 years. Like, we've had a rough start for a band. Like, this was my first band, and I'm so glad that it's evolved into something that we can use and we can play around with and grow and actually have a chance at chasing the dreams that at least I've realized are possible, the dreams that I want to be a part of and chase, where you're living on the road and having a great time with your friends and going and playing music for thousands of people if that's the possibility, but as many people as possible, so that they go home feeling better and they had a good day. That's the main thing that's important to me, because music to me is such an empowering thing that I'll just sit and play guitar until I can't move my fingers anymore, and that's just because I wanted to be good so bad, and now that I can start hearing the things from my head come out into the music, or hear the kind of soloing or any sort of advanced technique that I wanted to master, I'm starting to hear the sounds that I want from it. And I can't explain to you what kind of feeling that is when you start having, when the thing that you want to happen starts happening, in the most plain form. It can be the simplest thing, but for something as special as music, for something that I'm able to tap into that some people aren't, it's lucky. I feel very lucky and blessed to be able to tap into it. That I was able to tap into it quickly, and that I was able to address what I wanted and learn what I wanted and start writing what I wanted. It's literally just having a passion big enough to not be afraid of what you sound like, and just playing hard enough every single day. Not every single day, of course. There's gonna be days that you skip because you just feel like crap. But there's always music, no matter where you go. There's gonna be music. So, hopefully this video wasn't too bad. It's a little bit longer than the last one, so I'm pretty happy about that. Losing the first take was pretty disappointing. to myself, but the second take I think sort of picked up pace, and I was able to get into that same hyped up mindset that I was in beforehand. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. I'm gonna go and enjoy the rest of my day and re-upload this and repost it on everything that I have to post it on. So you guys have a good day, and I'll see you later. This is Titus. I'm out.